Hello everyone, this is part 29 of What If Naruto Meets the Nine Tails Early, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Lee had just exited Tsunade's office, only to hear a screaming come from the office. Hey, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. I kind of want to go get the B rank Jutsu Ero Sennin and Barken promised me before the Jutsu archives close. That, and I was kind of hoping to catch up with Hinata for the first time in what feels like 2 months, said Naruto before taking off. I'm going to take off too. I must strengthen my flames of youth before we leave for the Chunin exams, exclaimed Lee as he ran off towards the training grounds. All that left was Sakura and Sasuke in a kind of awkward silence. Well, I'm sure you want to go off and train, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow, Sasuke, said Sakura. She was about to walk off until Sasuke spoke up. It's getting late and I've been out in the wilderness training for the past month straight. I wouldn't mind getting some decent food and catching up, and seeing what you've been up to this past month, said Sasuke. Sakura just froze at the turn of events. It almost sounded like Sasuke was asking her out. Inner Sakura practically screamed out in joy. But Sakura realized that it probably wasn't a date, just two teammates catching up. She may have given up on her fangirl tendencies, but this she wasn't going to pass up. Sure. Naruto had just reached the Jutsu archives. The shinobi librarian in charge of the archives wasn't quite sure what to say. It wasn't that this was Naruto looking for access into the B-rank Jutsu archives. If the librarian was a civilian, then Naruto probably would have been kicked out on spot, but because the librarian was a shinobi, he saw Naruto as just that, a fellow shinobi. However, the rules were not to allow genin access to anything above C rank, and that was only for genin who had at least a year and a half of experience. Yet Naruto had a note signed by the Hokage allowing him to access one B-rank jutsu. The librarian in the end, just shrugged and let Naruto in. After a few minutes of searching, Naruto found something that interested him. Futon, Air Dragon Bullet. He remembered seeing something like this when Kakashi-sensei and Zabuza were fighting back in the Land of Waves. It was one of the first actual cool jutsu that he remembered seeing from Kakashi-sensei, and he felt the wind version of it would be great. Now that he had his jutsu that Barken and Ero Sennin had promised him, it was time to go find Hinata. He knew that she was somewhere in the village, as it was now a week before every genin entered in the Chunin exam left for Kumogakure. Tsunade had declared that every genin participating be given the week off to rest and train. Found her, thought Naruto. He had spent about 20 minutes searching for his blue-haired girlfriend. Naruto got that mischievous look on his face as he tried to sneak up on her. Hinata felt someone was behind her and she turned around to see who it was. Hinata, is everything all right? Hinata had been walking with Tenten, the two of which had been growing closer over the time. Yeah, I just thought, nothing, replied Hinata. I just thought someone was following me. And why would someone do that? Asked Tenten. Well, the elders have been a little more, well, hostile, mean, stalker-ish, said Tenten, completing Hinata's thoughts. Well, yeah, they've been harder on me for the past months, trying to get me to back out of the exams. They're afraid I'll do something to embarrass the clan or something, said Hinata. Don't worry about those pieces of garbage. You just need something to get your mind off of it. And I know what'll help, said Tenten. Lee's back, which means Naruto's back. A nice little date night should. Hi-na-tar. Naruto had dropped down from the tree, hanging upside down on the underside of the branch by his feet. His face was about level with hers and he had a big grin plastered on his face. Hinata went red and then unconscious. Well, she's getting better, but I can still make her faint if I surprise her, said Naruto. Tenten had her hand on her forehead and was just shaking her head. Shortly after, Tenten and Naruto were on their way with Hinata unconscious on Naruto's back. So what have you been up to, Naruto? Asked Tenten. Traveling with Ero Sennin, saving princesses, learning Fuinjutsu. Fuinjutsu, Tenten was having trouble comprehending that one. She was familiar with Fuinjutsu herself, and Naruto just didn't seem like the Fuinjutsu. Are you sure you didn't hit your head on the branch back there before dropping down to scare Hinata? Why does everyone think that? I can so do Fuinjutsu, see my gloves. I made those seals myself, said Naruto. Okay, just calm down. That's just one thing I didn't quite expect out of you. I know a little myself and it's not easy, said Tenten. Speaking of which, what do those seals on your glove do? Naruto placed a hand over his glove and a few shuriken puffed into existence. Tenten just stared amazed. Naruto was actually telling the truth about Fuinjutsu. It makes it easier to store and carry shuriken, said Naruto. Naruto, said a just waking up Hinata. Hey, you're awake, exclaimed Naruto. Seeing that she was on Naruto's back, Hinata readjusted her grip and even tightened a little, not wanting to let go. Oh, we're here. To Naruto's surprise and Hinata's disappointment, they found themselves at Hinata's home. Naruto, I was hoping, well, since this was our first time back together in over a month, if you wanted to, well, Hinata began twiddling her fingers a little. So you wanted to go out tonight? Asked Naruto. Hinata looked up at the blonde, smiled and nodded. Okay, well, I kind of brought you back here so you could at least clean up and change. You look like you've been training pretty hard today. Tell you what, I'll come back in an hour and we can go, sound good? Sure. Do you want to get some ramen then? Asked Hinata. Hey, that sounds great, said Naruto. I'll see you in an hour, I guess. Hey Naruto, before you leave, do you think you could show me how to make those seals on your gloves? Asked Tenten. Oh, yeah, sure. How about sometime this week? Can't be tomorrow because I've got to meet with Kakashi-sensei, but I'll show you before we leave. Naruto ran off, back to his apartment to change out of his shinobi gear as Hinata went to do the same. Both looking forward to the first time they would see each other since Naruto went to a zoo with Jiraiya. Sakura and Sasuke were walking through town, having come from the local tea shop where they went to catch up on recent events. They had mostly talked about what they had been up to, Sasuke telling about his time with Kakashi and some of the jutsu he had learned. Sakura on the other hand talked about the most recent C rank, turned B rank mission, and even Sasuke joked that they couldn't manage to get an ordinary C rank mission. Wait, Sasuke, joke. However, the one thing that caught Sakura's attention was that Sasuke sounded slightly impressed that Sakura had managed to take down her opponent, who was of Chunin out Oflo Jonin level. Now, Sakura had never known Sasuke to be impressed about anything her or Naruto had done, and she was a little freaked out at first. But she was sure that she heard a faint hint of impressed and satisfied with what she had been doing in Sasuke's tone. She was, for the very first time, having a casual, two-sided conversation with Sasuke outside training or any ninja-related activity. That is, until they encountered something more terrifying than Orochimaru himself. Oh, hey guys, said Kakashi, sending a wave the direction. He, along with Ebisu and some unknown ninja, were sitting around a miniature fire with a few tents pitched. Now, this would be alright, if it wasn't for the fact that the tents were pitched in front of a bookstore that had a huge sign, advertising the release of Ika Violence, scheduled to be released the following morning. All three of them had an Ika book of some volume in their hand and they were laughing with a perverted giggle. That's just sad, was all Sakura could think of. Sakura, I'm sorry to say, but I think I've changed my mind. I'll be going to find Orochimaru now, said Sasuke, trying to clear his head of the picture in front of him. No, I completely understand. It's going to take me years to get this image out of my head, replied Sakura. The two parted ways as they went to try and cleanse their minds. Just my luck. I was actually getting Sasuke to talk to me a little bit more and it had to be ruined by a trio of perverted men, camping out for the release of some perverted book, thought a depressed Sakura. I'm going to strangle that perverted sensei when I see him tomorrow. Shouted inner Sakura. Hey, welcome to Ichiraku. I'll be with you in one moment, said Tuki, his back turned to the customers as he was busy cooking ramen. Hey old man, said Naruto. Tuki turned around to see his best customer, and a guest. Well, I was wondering when you'd finally bring your date here, said Tuki, causing Hinata to blush. Suddenly, there was a flash. They're so cute together, aren't they daddy? Asked Ayami. Tsuki chuckled a little. So Naruto, I've got the ingredients for one of the recipes, do you want me to give it a shot? Asked Tsuki. Really? Hell yeah, shouted Naruto. Recipes? Asked Hinata. Huh, oh that's right, I haven't told you anything about what I found on my trip, have I? Realized Naruto. With that, Tsuki set down a rather large bowl of miso ramen for the two to share while he began to work on what the Uzumakis had called the swirling tides ramen. While that was happening, Naruto began telling Hinata everything that happened on his trip. He told her what he found out about his mother. He told her about Jiraiya teaching him Fuinjutsu. He told her about his discovery of his Uzumaki heritage and all the valuable scrolls and the sword he found. He then told her about how he kicked the Soundser out of Uzushiogakure. The only thing he didn't talk about was how he helped Jiraiya write his next Ika Ika book. I'm so happy you found out who your mother was and that she turned out to be who she was, a respected and strong kunoichi, said Hinata. Did you find anything on who your father might be? Naruto nearly choked on his ramen when Hinata asked that question. Damn Ero Sennin. I can keep that a secret from Sasuke. I can keep it a secret from Sakura. I can keep it a secret from just about anyone. But not her. I can't lie to Hinata. Gah, what do I do? Naruto was practically beating him up on the inside as Tsuki sent him a worried look, wondering how Naruto would handle this. Damn it, I'll have to talk to Baken and see if it's alright. Naruto. Hinata was tugging at Naruto's sleeve when Naruto snapped out of his little trance. Oh, sorry Hinata. It's not something I can really talk about right now, apologized Naruto. Is everything alright? She asked. She could tell there was some battle going on in Naruto's head. I mean if you don't want to talk about it, I understand. No, I really do want to tell you, but I can't. At least not right here, said Naruto. So what have you been up to these past months? Naruto was trying to change the subject. Well there was this one mission where we had to check up on a former student of Kurenai-sensei's. Her name was Kurama Yakumo and she was having some issues, said Hinata. Kurama. I've heard that name before, but where? You've got 5 seconds before I beat you up and eat you, threatened the Kyuubi. Oh come on. Take a joke. It's not my fault they named their clan after you, replied Naruto. Naruto. Hinata was worried because Naruto paled. It's nothing. Stupid furball just can't take a joke, that's all, replied Naruto. So what happened? Well, she apparently has a huge ability for genjutsu, but the only problem was that her mind manifested a demon of its own and her abilities had to be sealed. We were trying to remove it and thankfully we did, said Hinata. So now Yakumo's going to be joining the shinobi forces as a genin once she receives a few remedial classes. Oh and I also completed that wind chakra exercise with the kunai. Wow, that's great, exclaimed Naruto. Now you can learn this cool new jutsu I just got with me. That'll be nice. Oh and what was Tenten asking you about that seal she wanted you to show her? Asked Hinata. Oh. Nothing much. It's just an advanced storage seal I made that makes carrying shuriken and kunai much easier, said Naruto. I can make you one too or show you how to do it if you want. One bowl of swirling tide ramen, straight from my new menu, said Tsuki, setting the bowl of Uzumaki ramen in front of Naruto. The funny thing was that it even looked like there was a spiral or a vortex in the ramen bowl formed by all the ingredients. Naruto took a bite and his eyes snapped open. The flavors were dancing around in his mouth, ever changing as if there was a ramen whirlpool in his mouth. Oh, my, was all he could get out. So, how is it? Asked Tsuki. Hinata decided to see what the hype was about and took a chopstick full of ramen from the bowl. Her reaction was very similar as she was trying to comprehend the flavors that kept coming and going. There was something going on in this ramen, something almost magical. It's honestly the best ramen I've ever had, said Naruto before diving into the rest of the bowl. Tsuki laughed at his success. You know Pop, I've never seen him share ramen with anyone before, Ayami mentioned to her dad. Tsuki chuckled a little at this. Yes, it's surprising what adding a girl to your life will do. I still think they're the cutest. I'm going to go get the camera again, said Ayami, squealing a little. Naruto and Hinata were sharing the large bowl of ramen Tsuki had placed in front of them. It wasn't long before they learned that the secret of this ramen was to just enjoy it and let it do its thing, not try and comprehend it. There was no comprehending this ramen, it was just too unpredictable, and that's what made it amazing. Hey Hinata, Naruto said, catching the young girl's attention. Have you done something with your hair? It looks a little different. Well, I've been thinking about growing it out. Do you like it? Asked Hinata, hoping Naruto would say yes. At this point in time, her hair was about N length. Out OFN, imagine her hair in Shippuden and then just shorten it to N length. Besides, it takes a few years to grow it to the length she had it in Shippuden. I think you'd look better with longer hair. I don't know why, but I like it better when girls have longer hair, said Naruto. Besides, why do you think I started that rumor that Sasuke liked girls with long hair back in the academy? That was you, said a surprised Hinata. Yep, I did it so all the girls in the class would grow their hair out. Besides, no one would grow their hair out if I had said it was Naruto who liked girls with long hair, said Naruto. I would have. The only reason I didn't was because I didn't want to look like a fangirls. I was hoping you would notice me if I didn't do what everyone else did, said Hinata. Now Naruto felt bad. The whole, I didn't notice Hinata back in the academy, was still a sore subject for him. I'm sorry Naruto. No, it's okay. Things just never went my way back then, but that doesn't matter. We're here now, aren't we? Naruto grinned and Hinata smiled with him. Damn it, I have to tell her. I can't keep the secret from her, and she of all people deserves to know. This paperwork's going to K-me, shouted Tsunade. That's it, Shizune, we're going drinking tonight. Shizune sighed, but there was a knock on the door. What now? Groaned Tsunade, practically on the verge of tears. Hey Barkan. Sorry, but I need to ask a huge favor, said Naruto, coming into Tsunade's office. Great, the brat's just what I need now, thought Tsunade sarcastically. Fine, what is it? I need to tell Hinata about my dad, Naruto blurted out. Tsunade just stared wide-eyed at the blonde. And why should I let you do that? You know how dangerous a secret that is, said Tsunade. Yeah, I can keep that secret from anyone, but I just don't think I can keep it from her. You've got to understand, she's been there for me, and to me, she deserves to know. Come on Barkan, I can trust her, begged Naruto. I figured this would come, said Jiraiya, appearing in the window. Damn it Jiraiya, don't you ever use the door, shouted Tsunade. Jiraiya, you can't possibly be thinking of letting Hinata in. I know she may be trustworthy, but this secret is huge, argued Tsunade. I've been thinking about it. Her father knows after all, and he can help her keep it, said Jiraiya. But still, Tsunade was interrupted. I'll stop calling you Barkan for a few months, said Naruto. This immediately got Tsunade's attention. What? She said, leaning her ears towards Naruto. Did I hear correctly? I said, I'll stop with the Barkan stuff for a few months. Suan-sama, said Naruto, adding the Tsunade-sama part to make it more convincing. I think Naruto wins this one, thought Jiraiya. Fine, but if I hear you mention the word Barkan, I'll bust your back to the preschool class in the academy, said Tsunade. So when do you want to tell her? Now, said Naruto, turning to the door. Hinata, you can come in. Hinata stepped through the door, still confused as to why Naruto would have to see the Hokage to talk about his father. Hinata, Tsunade addressed. Hi, Hokage-sama, responded Hinata. The Gaki here requested that you be told about the idini of his father. This is an S-class secret, do you understand? Said Tsunade. I mean, if it's too much trouble I don't need to, said Hinata. No Hinata, this is one secret that I won't keep from you. I don't think I could anyways, and that's why we came here, said Naruto. Okay, I understand, said Hinata. Please let Naruto's father be someone great and noble. Fine. Seeing as you know about the Kyuubi sealed inside him, I'll start from the beginning. The night the Kyuubi attacked and the Yondaime was forced to S himself in order to seal it, he had to use a newborn infant to seal the Kyuubi in. However, the Yondaime was the type of person who could never ask another family to give up the child for the sealing ritual, so, he used his own son, said Tsunade. What? That night, was probably the loudest anyone had ever heard Hinata shout. You mean Naruto is Yes, Hinata, my dad is the Yondaime Hokage, said Naruto. Hinata spent the next 20 minutes just trying to take everything in. She was angry that Naruto's own father had sealed the QB inside him and condemned him to the life he currently lived. However, she quickly realized that the Yondaime had done what he had to in order to protect the village and that he never wished for this life for his son. It wasn't his fault that the villagers couldn't see Naruto as anything but the QB. She was sad that Naruto was denied the life he should have had. Being the son of the Hokage, he should have been treated as practically royalty, but he was treated as nothing more than a piece of trash on the street. She was happy that Naruto now knew who his parents were and that they were who they turned out to be. She was afraid that they would be some sort of disgrace to the village, but they weren't. They were two of Konoha's greatest heroes. Lastly, she was hopeful. Hopeful that when the day came that Naruto's heritage would truly be revealed, that her clan would openly accept their relationship, not just her father, Neji, and a small handful of branch members. Hinata, are you okay? Naruto finally asked. Yeah, it's just a lot to take in, replied Hinata. I still can't believe that you're the son of Konoha's greatest hero. I know, great isn't it? Naruto said, a huge grin plastered across his face. Now Hinata, you do understand that is to remain a closely guarded secret until Naruto turns 16, correct? Hinata nodded to Sund. The only people who know right now are myself because I'm Hokage and I need to know these things, Jiraiya because he's Naruto's godfather, your father because he was a close friend of Minato's, and Tsuki because he's the only one in the village with half a brain to connect the dots. Naruto and Hinata left the office so Tsunade could finally go and relieve some stress by drowning herself in sake. They found a nice spot on top of the Yondaime's head. Now Hinata understood why this was always where Naruto went. For the next hour or so, they talked and bit, until the curfew that Hiashi had placed on the dates came and the two were forced to say goodnight. The next morning, Naruto was making his way to the academy, the place where Team 7 had first met Kakashi. However, he was stopped when he saw all the children outside showing off the newly earned forehead protectors to their parents. They had just had the graduation exams that morning. Naruto! Sakura shouted as she joined her teammate. Sasuke joined him as he jumped down from the tree. Hey guys, has it really been a year already? Asked Naruto. Sasuke and Sakura quickly realized what Naruto was talking about as they saw all the new genin with their forehead protectors. Wow, I guess it has, said Sakura. Hey, we had one hell of a first year for genin. The three reminisced for a few minutes before continuing to the top of the academy where they were supposed to meet. As normal, Kakashi wasn't there on time and they suspected he would be an hour or two late. Naruto, about those gloves you made yourself, Sakura, Sasuke said, not wanting to complete the sentence. Huh, did I hear that right? Sasuke wants me to make him a pair of those gloves, asked Naruto, nagging on Sasuke a little. Was all Sasuke did to respond. Geez, if you want a pair, then all you have to do is ask, said Naruto. Sasuke swallowed his pride. Well, can you? Can I what? Said Naruto. Don't push it, Dobe, said Sasuke. Can you make me a pair of those gloves? See, that wasn't too hard, said Naruto. And it just so happens that I've got an extra pair too. Naruto pulled out a pair of black gloves that he had also picked up from the cart. Anything specific? I mean, Sakura asked to be able to put different types of senbon in. Wait, what? Asked Sasuke. Sakura showed him the seal on her gloves and it was a more advanced storage seal than he was used to seeing. The Dobe can make a seal like that. Is it possible to do wired shuriken? Asked Sasuke. Naruto nodded and began drawing out a larger version of the seal on a scroll. It looked different than Sakura's but it had what Sasuke was looking for. A primary kanji for the shuriken storage and a second kanji for the storage of ninja wire. Naruto paused for a moment and added a third storage kanji that would be used for Fuma shuriken, since he remembered from the wave that Sasuke liked those as well. He then quickly scribes the seal matrix, intertwining them all as Sakura and Sasuke looked on in amazement as Naruto finished the first seal. He placed the first glove on top of the seal and made a few quick hand seals. Fuinjutsu, seal imprint, Naruto called out as the seal that he had on the paper began to migrate onto the underside of the wrist of the glove. When all was said and done, the seal was no longer on the paper and it was now on the glove. The 3 kanji that he had drawn were there and a condensed version of the matrix was visible. Naruto did the second glove, Sasuke and Sakura watching closely to make sure the first wasn't a fluke. You got any shuriken, ninja wire, and even a Fuma shuriken or 2? Fuma shuriken? Asked Sasuke. Yeah, I remembered you liking those so I added a 3rd storage kanji for those, said Naruto. Sasuke quietly handed Naruto the stuff, not sure what to say. Naruto sealed the items and handed the gloves to Sasuke. Now, it may take a little to get used to how to channel the chakra through those seals, but it shouldn't take long. Sakura figured it out after about an hour. Sasuke nodded and faced one of the trees that were on top of the academy and summoned a few shuriken. The amount was more than he had hoped, but he was surprised that Naruto's seal even worked. On the next attempt summoning shuriken, he reduced his chakra by a lot and only got 1 shuriken to appear. Naruto was right, it would take a little getting used to, but he was already getting the hang of the amount of chakra to put in to summon a certain number of shuriken. He tried the wired shuriken and those worked well too, the wire not see until he decided to stop the flow in the wire compartment. What surprised him even more was how Naruto had added the Fuma shuriken compartment and how the seal could actually wire the shuriken for him. So, how are they? Asked Naruto. Are you sure you're Naruto? The Dobe I knew could never put something like this together, taunted Sasuke. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? What do you think I've been doing for the past months? Asked Naruto. Sasuke smirked, receiving the same from Naruto. Our first day back together and you two are already going at each other's end. Ha! All 3 of them turned around to see Kakashi standing on top of the stairwell. You're late, shouted Naruto and Sakura. Yeah, sorry guys but you see. You just wanted to read that book you got, didn't you? Asked Naruto. Sasuke and Sakura shivered at the mention of that book. Yeah, so why don't we begin with some introductions? Said Kakashi. What? But we already know each other. This isn't like the first time we met, sensei, said Sakura. She had the strange feeling that this was turning out to be just like the very first time they all met. I know, but I'm sure the 3 of you have changed quite a lot in the past month and I just want to get a feel for where everyone's at now, said Kakashi. How about you go first, Kakashi-sensei? And don't give us any of that no desire to tell us about stuff, said Naruto. Okay, my name is Hatake Kakashi. I like books, masks, and dogs. I dislike people who abandon their comrades. I guess you could say my hobby is reading, said Kakashi. How about you, Sakura? At least that was better than last time. This is still ridiculous though, thought Sakura. I'm Sakura, although you already know that. I like medicine and medical ninjutsu. I dislike being a burden and anyone who thinks I'm a weak just because I'm a girl. I guess my hobbies would be studying medicine and my goal is to become the strongest kunoichi like my master. Looks like she's taking her duties as a ninja more seriously now. It's funny how she used to be a silly little fangirl, yet she's grown a lot, thought Kakashi. Alright, Naruto you're next. Right, I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen, Hinata, and fuinjutsu. I dislike people who unfairly judge others and those who insult the Hokages. My hobbies are eating different kinds of ramen, training, and studying fuinjutsu. My dream is still the same. I'm going to become the strongest Hokage, Tobio. Well, he's still a ramen addict, but the fuinjutsu part is interesting. I look forward to seeing if he can surpass Minato-sensei, thought Kakashi. Alright Sasuke, you're last. Uchiha Sasuke. I like training and getting stronger. I hate people who hurt and k those I care about and worthless fangirls who could be doing something better than annoying me. My hobby is training. As for my dream, there are a few people I'm going to k so they never take away my friends again. Interesting. He's still bent on revenge, but he's changing, even if it's slow. His reasons for wanting to k them are becoming more reasonable and he's finally starting to open up, thought Kakashi. Good. All of you have changed and I'm interested to see where you all will go in the future. Now follow me. Team 7 followed Kakashi back to the site where they were first inducted as ninja, Training Ground 7. Brings back memories, doesn't it? Asked Sakura. You mean like me getting tied to a post? Replied Naruto. Or me getting buried up to my N in the ground? Replied Sasuke. Sakura let out a small laugh and the three members heard the jingling of bells behind them. They turned around to see Kakashi carrying the same two bells that he had back when they were first formed as a team. Are those? I think you all know what to do. You've got 2 hours to get the bells from me. The ones who don't have a bell by the end of the time limit by dinner, said Kakashi. I suggest. Come at you with the intent to K, right? Finished Sasuke, activating his Sharingan. Kakashi nodded and lifted his own headband. I've got a feeling I'm going to need this now, said Kakashi. The three genin braced themselves. Okay, ready, set, go. With that, Team 7 darted off into the woods and Kakashi looked around to try and find them. Unlike the last time, it was much harder for him to detect them. He was relying on his Sharingan to find them, while last time he had been able to see them with simple observation skills. Come on and fight me, shouted Naruto, standing in the middle of the field in front of Kakashi. Once an idiot, always an idiot I guess, thought Kakashi. Sasuke and Sakura, who were watching, were thinking the same thing. That is until they heard rustling coming from behind them. They turned to see that Naruto, or at least Naruto clones, had found them. Shush, that's a clone of mine. Just wait for my move and strike, said the clone. Both Sakura and Sasuke nodded at the clones as they disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto, you're still a bit off. I thought you would have learned by now, said Kakashi. Yeah, I'm going to show that I can kick your right here, right now, declared the Naruto clone. He charged at Kakashi, swinging his fist at Kakashi's face. Kakashi blocked with ease and threw the clone. Naruto managed to land on his feet so to not dispel himself. Naruto swung a few more times at Kakashi, basically a repeat of last time. As Naruto swung another punch at Kakashi, the silver-haired Jonin disappeared and reappeared behind Naruto, having his hands in a very familiar tiger seal. I thought you would have learned by now. What did I tell you about letting your enemies get behind you? Asked Kakashi. Before Naruto could move, it was too late. Hidden Leaf Ancient Supreme Taijutsu Technique, 1000 Years of Pain. Kakashi shouted as he rammed his fingers right up Naruto's A, sending the unfortunate blonde flying and clutching his violated A. The blonde crashed in the ground in front as Kakashi chuckled. It was at this time that Naruto disappeared in a cloud of smoke. What? Kakashi actually sounded surprised. In the trees, Sakura and Sasuke readied themselves. By the time Kakashi realized he had been fighting a clone this entire time, the real Naruto was already running towards him, hands in the same seal that Kakashi had just used. Hey Kakashi-sensei, what was that about not letting your enemies get behind you? Hidden Leaf Ancient Supreme Taijutsu Technique, 1000 Years of Pain. Naruto lunged forward, intending to pay Kakashi back for the first time they fought. Kakashi's eyes widened as Naruto's fingers came closer to their target. Just as Naruto was about to land the attack, Kakashi jumped. Damn it, I missed, swore Naruto. Sasuke saw this as his opportunity and unleashed a few shuriken at the airborne Kakashi. The shuriken wrapped around Kakashi, ensnaring him in wire. Kaiten, Dragon Fire Jutsu. Flames shot down the wires and engulfed Kakashi as Sasuke and Sakura jumped into the clearing with Naruto. Do you think you overdid it, Sasuke? Asked Sakura. Nope, replied Sasuke. When the flames Kakashi was replaced by a charred log. The three of them instantly snapped to attention when they realized they lost tabs on their opponent. Where? Asked Sasuke. His Sharingan couldn't pick up on any movements from Kakashi. Left, right, behind, above. A pair of hands shot up out of the ground and grabbed Sasuke by the ankles, dragging him into the ground. Naruto and Sakura stepped back a little as Kakashi reappeared in front of them and standing over a buried Sasuke. Nice try, but the three of you can't get ahead of me that easily, joked Kakashi. Was all Sasuke said before disappearing in a puff of smoke. What? Shadow clone. But when did Sasuke learn that jutsu? Asked Naruto. Remember that day when he copied it off of you with the Sharingan? Asked Kakashi. Oh, right, I've still got to kick his A for that, replied Naruto. Futon, great breakthrough, was heard from the bushes. Kakashi braced himself as a powerful gust of wind came from the bushes. At the same time, Naruto and Sakura disappeared in a puff of smoke, revealing them to be shadow clones as well. Kakashi felt a spike of pain in his thigh as he held his ground against Naruto's attack. When the wind subsided, he looked down to see a black-tipped senbon embedded in his left leg. Got him, said Sakura in success. Yeah, but you only hit him with one of the senbon, replied Sasuke. Still, that one has paralytic venom in it. It won't be enough to completely stop him, but it will slow him down, replied Sakura. I guess it's better than letting him run around uninhibited, said Sasuke. Kakashi drew his kunai as Naruto came charging him with his own kunai at the ready. Naruto s his knife at Kakashi, who blocked with his, until Naruto's kunai s through Kakashi's knife and left a small nick on his mask, drawing some B. I see. Wind chakra channeled into your special kunai, not bad Naruto. You're getting better at deception with your clones as well, but that won't be enough to stop me, said Kakashi as he jumped back onto the water and began flipping through hand seals. Suten, water dragon bullet. Naruto tried to run as a giant water dragon came roaring down on top of him. This Naruto wasn't a clone and he couldn't do anything to avoid being washed away by the water. Naruto felt a wire wrap around him as he was pulled from the water by Sasuke. Damn it, swore Naruto. The three genin of Team 7 regrouped on the branches of some nearby trees. We need another plan, said Sasuke. I think I might have one, listen in, said Sakura. Kakashi had taken cover behind a tree, waiting for the next attack. His students were running out of time and he knew they would need to attack soon if they wanted to get the bells. Kakashi noticed the three of them crouching down in a bush ahead of him. Are you sure that will work? Asked Sakura to Naruto. Yeah, all we need to do is get that book of his, said Naruto. What are you three thinking of doing with my precious book? Asked Kakashi, standing above them. The three genin snapped to attention. Kakashi's eyes narrowed as he threw two kunai into Naruto and Sasuke, dispelling the shadow clones. Eep, was all Sakura could say before Kakashi threw a kunai into her as well, dispelling her. However, Sakura was not a shadow clone and she disappeared in a flurry of Sakura blossoms. Genjutsu, said Kakashi. Kai. He released the Genjutsu just in time to see another wired shuriken wrap around him. The shuriken then transformed into Naruto, as Kakashi realized that Naruto and Sasuke had done something similar to him that they did against Zabuza, using a transformed Naruto, disguised as a shuriken. Kakashi instantly threw Naruto away, breaking free of the wire that restrained him. Not bad. You three are definitely faring better than the last time we fought, I'll give you that, said Kakashi. In the distance, they heard a ring of the alarm as it went off, indicating that they had reached the time limit. Better, but not good, huh? Kakashi felt for the bells but realized that they weren't there. Looking for these, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Naruto, holding up the pair of bells. Sakura let out a little laugh and Sasuke just smiled. Kakashi let out a sigh. Looks like you guys win this one, admitted Kakashi. The three of you really have come a long way. A growl was heard from Naruto's stomach. So where are you treating us to dinner, Kakashi-sensei? Asked Naruto. Team 7 arrived at the barbecue restaurant that Kakashi was planning on treating them to. When they stepped inside. Team 8, Team 10, and Team Guy were also there. Kakashi, you're late, said Kurenai. Sasuke, so you didn't get up and disappear. Get over here you bad boy, squealed Ino. Sakura's and Tenten's sweat dropped. Tenten had always disliked fangirls and now that Sakura had given up on being a fangirl to become a better Kunoichi, Ino was now considered a bit of a disappointment in their eyes. When Sasuke took his seat, he intended to have Sakura on his left and Naruto on the right, acting as any sort of barrier for the ravaged fangirl of the group. This would also place Naruto next to Hinata, but before Naruto could sit, Ino snatched the seat from under him. Was I really that bad? Muttered Sakura. No. The two of you always competing with one another made it worse, replied Naruto. Naruto felt a sudden spike of intent from Sakura and realized he better find his seat soon. Fortunately, Kurenai offered to take the seat next to Asuma, where Ino had been sitting, while Naruto could sit on the other side of Hinata. A little into the dinner, Naruto finally asked one question that was on everyone's mind. Hey Kakashi-sensei, so do you know what the Kumo exams are like? Everyone stopped their conversations and listened in. Well, let me see, Kakashi thought for a moment. I know for sure that it will be the same structure as our exam was. All the Chunin exams use the same format now, ever since the last Cage Summit was held after the First Shinobi World War, and the Chunin exams were formed to take place of war in peace times. I know for certain that there will be some sort of information gathering exam as the first exam, a type of survival exercise as the second exam, and a series of single combat matches as the third exam. So what is each exam going to be like? Asked Kiba. Well, the first exam I'm not really sure. I've seen different tests given at different locations. For us, it's usually a form of written examination where you are encouraged to cheat to test your information gathering skills. I know that Tsunade is the same as we do, but I believe Kiri, Iwa, and Kumo do a different type of test. I know one of them does an interrogation as their test. It might be Kumo, in fact I think it is, but I'm not positive, said Kakashi. Okay. Sounds easy enough, said Kiba, putting on a mask of confidence. How about the second exam, sensei? Sakura asked this time, and it was Asuma that answered. The survival exam is very similar across the board. Basically, you will be assigned as teams to compete against one another over various items. It will be very much like the second exam you all took, just they may be asking you obtain different items and the terrain will obviously be different, said Asuma. And the third exam, you said will be one-on-one matches. So I'm guessing there will be a tournament like our exams? Asked Shikamaru. He decided to join along even though he wasn't participating in the exams. Shikamaru had been given permission to travel along with the rest of the Konoha ninja as an official. Now that's where Kumo is different, said Guy. What do you mean, Guy-sensei? Asked Lee. Kumo likes to see as many of their Chunin hopefuls pass as possible, so they have adopted a system that favors many participants in the final exams. They don't do a tournament like we do, where more compeers means more matches. More matches means that compeers get exhausted, and by the time the final matches are held, the candidates are too tired to put on the best performance. Also, given the number of Chunin hopefuls they like to have in their third round, their system is a bit more time effective than a tournament, which I honestly don't understand, explained Guy. Why's that, bushy brows sensei? Asked Naruto. Their third round consists of 2 sets of matches, held 3 days apart from each other. You fight the first round of matches and then you're given 3 days to recuperate for the second round. As long as you can fight, you will have a second match, said Guy. So everyone has 2 matches to impress the judges? Asked Tenten. Yes. Kumo does this to ensure they promote the most Chunin possible. It is very rare to see a ninja be promoted after a single match, especially if they lose, explained Guy. I see. So this way, even if you lose your first match due to a bad matchup or something, you still have another chance, said Shikamaru. I see how Kumo would use this system to ensure that their candidates have a chance to show off more if they truly do like to stack the ranks with their own shinobi. Yes, you'll all be at a disadvantage being at a foreign exam, but I have faith that your flames of youth will burn bright. All of you, shouted Guy. Lee got fired up with his sensei, Kiba shivered at the thought, and everyone else's sweat dropped. Now hold on. Ino, if you and Chuji are competing, don't you need a third? Asked Sakura. Yeah. Tsunade-sama helped us there and found us a third. We met him the other day and he seems pretty polite, said Ino. So, who is he? Asked Sakura. He's actually from Neji and Hinata's clan, Shinji's his name, said Ino. Instantly, Hinata stiffened, Neji nearly choked on his food and Naruto growled. Ino caught this. What? Ino, he's not what you think, said Hinata. He's most likely acting polite so he can get the approval by Tsunade-sama to be in the team. But in reality, he's well, Neji's politeness was stopping him from finding the correct words. He's a completer, replied Naruto. Every time I run into him at Hinata's house, he's always insulting her and putting her down. I swear if I run into him in the exams I'm going to shove a Rasengan up his to keep that gigantic stick company. Naruto, responded Hinata. Sorry, you know how worked up he gets me though, responded Naruto. Naruto's right. He is, to put it nicely, a main branch Hyuga, said Neji. But, isn't Hinata in the main branch? Asked Shuji. They can't be that bad, can they? Yes. You have to realize that Hinata is not liked amongst the main branch because she's gentle and kind, something they see as weak, said Neji. He's just an arrogant, selfish prick, said Naruto. Besides, Hinata could kick his ass any day. I'll just say this, he's worse than Neji used to be, way worse. And what's that supposed to mean, Naruto? Neji glared at the blonde. You know what I meant. The main difference is that you were mad at everyone for what happened in your past, he's just an to anyone he sees as inferior to him, said Naruto. Suddenly, Ino and Chuji were cursing their fortune in finding a third. Ino, Chuji, the best piece of advice I can give you is just to put up with him. You only need to do so for the first 2 exams, afterwards you're pretty much done with him. He won't care about the 2 of you besides what is needed for him to pass. I suggest you handle him the same, advised Neji. When the meal and conversations finally ended, everyone went their separate way. Naruto was fortunate enough to catch Kakashi before he left though. Kakashi-sensei, there's something I want to talk to you about. I know. You want to know about him, don't you? Asked Kakashi, pulling out his own Hiraishin kunai that Minato had given him for his becoming a Jonin present. Please, asked Naruto. Well, it's getting late so how about we talk tomorrow evening, sound good? Naruto nodded to Kakashi. Good, now go and get some rest so you can put some good effort into the training this next week, said Kakashi. Besides, I hear you've got a cool new jutsu you need to work on. Jutsu. Futon, Air Dragon Bullet, the user blows out a mass of compressed air that is shaped like a dragon's head. The air dragon then basically clamps its jaws down on its target as the target is hit with a blast of compressed and sharpened air. Rank B. Uses Umaki Naruto, to be, Hyuga Hinata, to be. Fuinjutsu, Seal Imprint, a basic Fuinjutsu technique that allows the user to transfer a seal from a scroll out of paper onto a desired object. This also will shrink the seal down to a more appropriate size. Rank C. Uses Uzumaki Naruto, Jiraiya, Hitaki Kakashi, and just about anyone with a little more than a basic understanding of seals. Suten, Water Dragon Bullet, this technique gathers a large mass of water and shapes it into a giant, powerful dragon. This attack hits the opponent with a formidable amount of force, dealing physical damage. Rank B. Uses Hitaki Kakashi, Momoichi Zabuza. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.